Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, welcome to the Everything and Nothing Show. I am just one of your hosts with the mostest, Clayton Kisko, and I'm accompanied by a full cast of the Maelstrom Gamers here on the Everything Nothing Show. And we have with us today the most important man, the bad boy. Cop Show's number one fan. A man that's going to be here for the entire episode. We love him. You love him. Steve Landis.
It's a better remix.
Nice. Nice. You got talent. Next up, we have the A-Train, the Canadian sensation, Alan Toner.
Yo, what is up? I am a robot.
He's got grapefruited.
He also, he's what? He got grapefruited?
Grapefruited.
Yeah.
Hashtag grapefruit.
And next up, we have the most beautiful man in the world, on the planet,
on the flat earth,
a.k.a. Backdoor, Rocco Avellino.
That is not in a good AKA.
a.k.a. Living Party.
Like League of Legends is gonna be like Backdoor. Like I knew that guy was that.
A.k.a. Red Balls. And last up, certainly not least, we have the man formerly known as the Enigma, Ian Kane.
What's up, guys?
No,
What's going on?
What?
it's the man without the mask.
That's right. The man without the mask, formerly known as the Enigma, Ian Kane.
Like how he redoes
What's
it.
going on? We had to redo it.
You had
I
to.
fucked up.
I just gotta make my name like a symbol, like Prince now.
Yeah, we really do need to make a symbol. And that's what it needs to be. So, guys, we're just talking about some grapefruiting. If you're joining us right now and you don't know what this is about, I'll spell it out for you very quickly and very simply. All of us Maelstrom gamers, we hop on a Skype. We each bring a topic for our discussion, but more importantly for your entertainment. Each topic is its own video on YouTube, around 15 minutes long. Topic by topic, we dole it out Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, all the topics are rolled up into a single episode, and you can get it all for free on youtube.com/Maelstrom Gamers channel. And if you'd like to support us, and on the top of that, get that a little bit early, you can go to patreon.com/Maelstrom Gamers, and you can become a Maelstrom Gamer by giving us just a little bit, as little as $1 and as much as you'd like. And you can get all the stuff for free and early. If you don't have money, that's cool too. You can support us by commenting, liking, subscribing on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page, on our Twitter @Maelstrom Gamers, and even on our Instagram. And then if you haven't had enough of us, you can see us streaming live on YouTube. We're playing League of Legends all day, day. We're trying for Season 6. We're trying to get to the gold. We're trying to get to platinum. We're doing our best. Look, we're not the best, but we're not the worst. We are entertaining. So join us on this journey in Season 6. We're sure that you'll have fun. And if you like playing League of Legends, play with us. We want to know who you are. Send us your tag. Rocker's shaking his head no, but I'll play with you. I'll play with you. We'll play some League of Legends.
Me too. I'm like the best player on the
team. Alan is the best player.
I play
that one's going to be bad. That one's going to be bad.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Steve-O's got the mob after him. So if you see
he's
him
a Florida
looking over
man, so say no more.
He's a Florida man. If you guys haven't seen that the mountain lion kind of thing, he's watching out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Sunshine State.
Yeah. Steve's in Africa right now. He is on
I'm fighting up
safari.
malaria.
Yeah. He's looking into the
citronella
Zika
candle.
virus spreading all the way down into Africa. So, how is it over there? Is it cold? Is it nice? Like, are there blood
Right now?
diamonds?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not bad.
Are there blood diamonds? Is that what you just said?
I just heard that was a thing.
Yeah, of course.
Are there blood diamonds? Like,
Have you seen them? All right, cool, awesome.
Well, you know what happens here in Florida? It's just a bunch of murderers, rapists, and thieves. So you always hear about it in the paper.
That's true.
yeah, pretty
It's
much.
very true. The crazy.
And retired Jewish people.
Yep.
Yep, and we eat faces down here.
He goes,
You just
But retired people in general too, right? Just like old
Yeah.
people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I think especially people from New York.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
New
Totally.
York, yeah, and
New Jersey.
northeast.
Yeah.
but especially people from New York.
They just live with hurricanes and snow in Boston. Like they just live with that all year long for all their life, and then like fuck this, I'm going to Florida. They just want.
Yep. Because their
We
bones
just
hurt.
want hurricanes, and that's it.
So why don't they go to Texas, man? It's like
Not really the
drier.
You guys don't have like the islands and stuff and like the nice beaches.
Yeah, man, no beaches.
The only thing that comes out of
There's some
Texas is
beach.
steers and queers.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, Ian, did you come up with that yourself?
All right, guys, let's go on to our first topic.
Yeah.
Since we have some people leaving, I'm gonna actually jump onto my topic first, and it's a continuation.
We're not even gonna care about them. We're gonna put them at the end.
We're gonna not care. I'm gonna be selfish.
Oh,
and I'm gonna do my topic. My topic is gonna be actually the continuation. I've been able to talk to Rocco and Alan solo about politics, and then I talked about politics with Ian and Steve-O. And now that we're all here, I think this is a good opportunity to continue our discussions that we were having. For instance, when we left last week, Ian and I were very heated topic, calling each other names, threatening each other over military defenses and spending in the United States. And I believe
popcorn, just like looking, just like
Steve was just like, he was like, oh, you didn't hear this, but Ian just called you a dick, and I was like, what? And so he would just kind of,
oh, you didn't hear this?
yeah. We're on the same Skype channel, but whatever.
I
And then
didn't see anything.
yeah. And then when we left off with Alan and Rocco, I believe we were kind of talking about healthcare, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So, it's pretty interesting. Wisconsin, as of this recording, Wisconsin is the next state up for the Democrats and the Republicans. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. It seems as if what I was understanding is that Hillary Clinton has pretty much given up Wisconsin, succeeding it to Sanders. Sanders and Hillary are battling it out in New York. It seems to be a pretty big state for them. If Sanders were to get this, his potential to win is real.
Did you hear any news yet on Hillary Clinton allowing the debate to happen in New York? Because I know that the Bernie Sanders campaign was asking for that to happen, but was being rejected for quite a while now. What I was left up with is no response on whether they wanted to go forward with that or not.
No debate. There is a Republican debate, from what I understand.
Okay.
I don't know when that is. But
see, that seems weird because Hillary Clinton, I mean, her home state is New York, so
that's why it makes it so intriguing. But
Yeah.
the people in New York actually have like a weird
yeah.
they don't know if they trust her yet or not. So if she were to
Yeah.
lose this, Sanders got a ton of momentum because he just came from the West Coast where he nabbed up, I believe, Oregon, Washington,
In Alaska.
and he got a ton of delegates.
Hawaii.
So yeah, in Hawaii, and he closed
was
the
nuts.
gap. I think it's something like 200 delegates now. He was at like 500. So New York and then California would be the two last big ones because they have a ginormous amount of delegates and they have a lot of influence. So the Democratic race, in my opinion, I've heard some people say Clinton's going to win this. I think she's still in the she's projected to win, but I still think it's very much up in the air.
I think it's it's just mad close.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but I was reading an article where a guy confronted on Facebook one of the super delegates out of Alaska. There's 4 super delegates, and was saying, the super delegate was on the fence about voting for Hillary, or for Sanders. And after they voted, and 75% of the population voted for Bernie Sanders, a guy confronted the superdelegate and said, well, now that you've seen that 75% of the population wants to vote for Bernie, has it made your decision a lot easier now? And she goes, I've had really bad discussions with Bernie Sanders supporters, who's really negative, yada, 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 and I'm going to be voting for Hillary. And the guy got, he handled himself very well, and he just kind of delivered back a message pretty much saying, like, listen, if your personal preference is wanting to go and vote for Hillary Clinton, that's perfectly fine. But when you're trying to represent the state as a super delegate based off of like our population's vote, I could say that you're gonna have to. It can't be personal preference at that point. Pretty much, long story short, she still said at the end of the day, like, she belittled him a little bit, kind of talked a little bit disrespectful, and then said, "I'm still voting for Hillary Clinton." So that's infuriated a lot of individuals, especially Bernie Sanders supporters, because knowing that, like, it's like you just said, this 200, super delegates, kind of like 200 delegates away from tying up with Hillary, and knowing that really at the end of the day, the super delegates are going to play a major part in this. And it kind of like feels like democracy's dead when individuals like that, like this lady up in Alaska, decide that they don't want to vote for the population. They want to take it and do a personal preference when they're the super delegate that's supposed to be representing the population.
It makes people like Steve-O say the things that he said last time, which is, my vote doesn't matter, I'm not going to vote. Like, we started this conversation, and Steve was like, my vote don't matter. And then he just knocked over his mic and walked away.
It doesn't matter.
Guess we're not going to talk about it. And then, he came back to tell me he heard that Ian called me a dick.
I would love to tell him that he's wrong there, but when a super delegate answers back and responds like this, then I would say perhaps you're right, because, I mean, our vote at that point wouldn't be mattering if they decided to go opposing the population. Yeah,
it goes to the electoral votes or whatever, right? A person in office would basically take, because we do vote, and then based on our votes,
The superdelegates
the politicians, superdelegates,
But
they
the
get
electoral votes are
but
the actual.
So
well,
the
the
super
popular vote is,
things that
is
matter.
who gets nominated. That's the big
Right.
thing. So that's
Right.
like who the Democrats can have the electoral people vote for. So it's like if we all vote for Bernie Sanders, and he's the one that they have to vote on, rather
that's-
well,
than
this is
the
the
other,
thing. They
I thought
don't
that
have
was
to.
only
They
in the
actually don't. The super
main-
delegates don't have to. That's
Yeah.
the thing. So it's like
That's
now
what's
it
weird.
hasn't
Is they
happened,
don't have
like,
to.
once in history or something like that. I think it's only happened where they've gone against the population, but really they kind of go for it. They're not required to. But that's just like
But there's
It's
no
gonna be
like
one of those
things
repercussions,
they
right?
should
Like
be.
who's the what does the delegate do? Does he get voted into office? Like I don't know who the fuck my delegates are.
So,
Like I don't care.
I mean,
So like they can just do whatever
supposedly
they
it's just
want,
like-
and I wouldn't know who to blame.
it's putting their time behind, like putting their time into the political system for several years, and then
no,
eventually
what they have to be elected by
voted by
somebody.
the state.
Oh, I think they are. I just don't think it's very
Well,
like.
so is that the thing? If all these Bernie Sanders people that voted for Bernie Sanders in Alaska, they put this lady, this super delegate, into office, they're going to be like, "What the
You're
fuck?
fucked,
We
yeah.
put you, yeah.
Well,
You're not. We're not going to reelect
Right,
you."
exactly.
Totally.
And they said this too. They said, we're going to hold you, we're going to hold you accountable too if you vote, opposing, the population's vote.
But do you
They're
think
pretty
it
much
will?
just saying like, listen, you're supposed to be representing us and you're not, and we're the public. So, I think she was voted in somewhere like 2012, and most likely won't be voted again if she's going against the
Yeah, if she
population.
goes against them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it's
But they're
supposed
supposed
to
to.
work.
They're
but-
voted
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But then there must be some for her to do that without sacrificing her like career or something. Then she must have some backing from somebody else or something like that.
Well,
then, right?
he even kind of said something like that. He even and this guy he worded it very politely, honestly. Like he could have gone aggressive with it because it was very infuriating for me even to rereading
Jumping
it. But
spiders
it was
in
like,
Africa.
yeah, he was just like, there must be something that's like you must be in somebody's pocket of some sort or something like that. And she was like, I'm not in anybody's pocket. And that's when she kind of got like really pissed off.
Hit a nerve.
Saying
Yeah.
like, there's got to be something going on here that's just not right because you're keep on voting against the population, and it's not even like a little bit. It's 75% of the state voted for
Hey,
Bernie. So it's like,
Yeah, Ian.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because starting off this whole thing though, you guys were talking about your last discussion of healthcare,
yeah.
and I was kind of wanting to know Alan's take on healthcare up there in Canada. Like,
It's good. It's really good for like life-threatening or like life-changing stuff. But for your day-to-day stuff, like if you get a cold or you just have to like go get some X-rays, it can be a huge pain in the ass because then you have to be put on a waiting list until they open up. You have a slot for you to like get your X-ray or MRI or whatever.
oh really?
But if you
I
have
didn't know
like,
about that.
but if you have like you're pregnant or something, then like it's all paid for. There's no hospital bills or anything like that. It's covered by your general health care. Or if you
Yeah.
get into a car accident, you're not going to have $100,000 worth of anesthesia just for just for there, and then like just your hospital stays like another 60 grand or something like that.
Now I got a question for you. Do you think it's possibly because there's not enough healthcare providers there, that's why you have to be put on a list because everybody has healthcare, or is it just?
Well, no,
like-
yeah, that's
'cause they're
kind of the
like-
thing. It's like you have so many, everybody can do this thing, right? So it's like, well, shit tons of people need MRIs. Like, well, we only have this many people that can do MRIs.
Do
Same thing.
MRIs,
Like when I
yeah.
was going to trying to get a psychiatrist for ADD medication, I had the waiting list was like 3 months out just because it's like anybody that wants to go. There's like 4 guys that are like in the province that can do
Yeah.
that thing. So it's like a huge demand, and it's basically like you're kind of at the
That's
mercy of
actually-
the system.
There
That's
was
actually
a,
something that the Americans were really worried about when they were doing the Obamacare at the first.
Oh
they were
yeah,
worried about.
that's everything I
They were
heard.
extremely worried about like I'm not gonna be able to go see my doctor at
You
all.
want to wait in line for a liver? It was like what?
But that's not
I know.
like I mean you're gonna have to wait for stuff like that in the states anyway,
Yeah.
like organ transplant. Like it's not like they just have like livers sitting around
Yeah.
waiting for you to like.
No,
"What
no,
do
no,
you
no.
want? Oh, let's open the liver fridge.
all-
Like there
yeah,
it is,
they over exaggerate everything.
was a lot-
Yeah, you're
Not
gonna
just
have to
for
wait.
organs,
No
though.
matter
They were
what.
actually worried about the doctors. Like I'm gonna go to see my,
Just
like a lot
day-to-day
of the medical
doctors.
population was worried about like I gotta go because I'm having a sick cold or something like that.
Right. Like
Be able-
yeah, like okay, but you're not gonna die. You're not gonna die at the end of the day if you don't see them. Like you might wait like 2 hours or like an hour just to see the doctor. Like that's it. It's not like you're waiting like weeks to just go see somebody for the common cold.
I heard the
Yeah.
best line from a TV show the other day, like explaining why Canadians are so nice. Was I was watching this show called Love on Netflix. If you don't know what that is,
Oh,
you
yeah,
should
I've
check
seen
it.
it, yeah.
It's really funny. But the one guy, they just go to the like 2 people having a conversation at a party. It's like he's like, yeah, like universal healthcare. That's why Canadians are so nice, because they don't have the stress of having to go to the hospital all the time. So they can just relax. And it's like, yes, that's perfect.
Yeah, like Yukiko's had to go for like emergency room a few times, and like it's always taken care of, pretty timely. And then again, once you get out, there's no bill, despite even getting medication, staying in the hospital for a few hours.
See, and that's pretty nice, because when I walk out, get a surgery here in the States, and I've got myself insurance, I'm still having to pay like, $2,600. The bill was going to be 26,000 kind of deal. So it's like having something like that where it's you got your universal health care that you get by just being a Canadian citizen. I think that should be a right, to be truthful. Like for me, I believe that healthcare should be a right for individuals, not a privilege.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and it is like, the taxes here are higher than they are like state to state.
Yeah. That was my next question, is like, what are like the taxes on that normally?
Yeah. So I would say it's like I don't think it's quite as drastic as what like Bernie Sanders' plan originally outlined, but again, his is over like a long-term period. But I would say like a paycheck, 25% to like around 25%, 25 to 30% is gone.
It's how much you're taxed.
Yeah.
Oh, in total or just for health?
Total.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to go to a lot.
I was
So
about to
this
say,
is
This does go to a
Just
few
for
things. Like
Yeah,
there's
that's
like
great.
some healthcare stuff. Yeah.
Canada's very progressive too, so it's like there's a lot of things that I think, like social programs that they have, that would be why they would be 25%. You know
And
what I mean?
something E and I were just talking about in terms of like taxes and where the federal government like takes that money and how they distribute it and use it. Like one thing we were talking about is like, it's really hard to have universal health care like without having to pay for it. Like you can't have both. You have to have people all chip in, and that's why you see something like a fine if someone doesn't. It's basically just a different. It's a nastier perception on everybody being taxed, because we don't tax people for this healthcare, the Obamacare, but we fine you, right? Like we fine you for not having healthcare. So like we need to be able to, like, everybody needs to either be contributing into it so that we can provide it for everybody, or we need to fine you because we need that money. Like we need to be able to fund it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
'cause, like my example is that my wife didn't have health care one year, so she got fined. So like literally she didn't have it, and then she also had to pay out for something she didn't even have. And the government's saying you have to have this. And my point is, you live in a free country. I understand that healthcare is a good thing to have, but why am I being told I have to have it in a free country?
Right. I think it's because they're trying to move into the direction where everybody can have universal health care as a right, and that means that these steps that we're taking right now are necessary to get to that point. Now, if we can jump from A to Z, I think they would do that, but they couldn't. I think they had to go, all right, we got to take these initial steps first, so some people are going to have to get penalties, some of these things, and then eventually it's going to be your wife's not going to have a choice. There's not going to be a choice. Everybody's going to have healthcare, which is something that's like you should have, and especially in a wealthy country like ourselves, that if you have any problems, no matter what age, no matter what group, you're getting some type of care and assistance, because you should. Like, why do we live in the 21st century where you couldn't go do that, or you'd have to
or
an arm and a
people walk
leg
away,
because
don't
you
have
can't
health
afford
care,
it,
and
you
they
know?
walk away with like $50,000 in debt.
Right.
Because of one ER visit.
So like right now,
That's
the fines and all the
fucked.
different stuff, I get where there would be the irritation, the anger, and the stuff like that, because really it's like not cool, but it's like the initial step to try to get to that point of what Canada kind of is offering right now.
I just think it's a bad approach, because a working middle class people, we're paying out so other people can have health care, and she doesn't get it. It's just like that.
Well, why
didn't
did
make
she not
sense
have?
to me.
Why did she not have health care? What was the
Couldn't
reason?
afford it.
Right. Well, that's the problem, right? Like, it's
Right.
like everybody has their like unsocialized medicine. They're all like it's basically work. Like medicine is for profit.
Yeah.
They're not doing it necessarily to help people. They're just doing it to like, this is how we make our money. This is how we make our revenue. So this is how much you have to pay for our healthcare if you want to get this kind of coverage, right? But if you have the socialized medicine, then there's like a flat fee basically that everybody pays. So like it's attainable for everybody.
That issue there,
But-
Ian, is because it's still like a capitalism setup where there's private companies still controlling the situation. It's not full socialized medicine, which is why that's like so expensive still, because the insurance company goes, oh wow, we're going to allow any pre-existing conditions, and if we're going to allow that, and we're allowing everybody else to come on to healthcare coverage, and without those pre-existing conditions, we need to bump up the premiums, dramatically. And because they have that control, because the government has allowed that private companies to be able to do that, that's why we have, I couldn't afford it, And
well, then why do you pretty much punish the working middle class and not the companies in the private sector? Why?
It's hard.
That's why you have to elect the type of.
That's why you want to go with Bernie Sanders, because he's
I
like.
agree with you there, Ian.
Bernie Sanders wants to take private healthcare completely out, and while that gives more control, or like to the federal government, you'll have more things like Canada, where it's like, look, it's not capitalized. It's run by the people, so to speak. It will go through the federal government, but it's protecting us and putting the prices really, really low and far down.
I mean, that's true. Exactly. I agree with you too, Ian. Like that's the issue, is that like why are the American people getting like hit with this? Why isn't the companies having to go through the hurdles to be able to jump over that? But that's the political system right now.
And it's not just healthcare, dude. It's like you talked about, why is the middle class being like screwed over by these private companies? It's healthcare, it's education systems, it's politics, it's all of these things, and that's why I resonate so much with Bernie Sanders, because he's attacking with just ruthless aggression. He's like, dude, this is fucked up, and we're gonna fix this, and I'm gonna try my damnedest. It might not happen, but I'm gonna like push it as far as I can. And the same can be said about Obama's campaign. And while he didn't get the most ideal healthcare system, this healthcare system that we have now is is so drastic in the last 60 years that it's just at least one step closer to what we really need to get. And you can't just. It's hard. People really expect this to just like be perfect. But if you look at what he's accomplished with the knuckleheads, like the bipartisan.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Is he met
party?
some major resistance in the courts when you're trying to push this, Obamacare through, which they had to change. I mean, a ton of the bill. So
you want to move a car from one parking spot to the next, and you're the only one moving it, and you got 20 people behind you pushing the other way. If you're able to move it 1 or 2 parking spots, that's a success in my book. And the next guy who's going to push this thing, hopefully he can push it with less people resisting him. Like, it's a win. It's not the win we want, but like it's a win in the right direction.
Yeah. Depending on who you are. I mean, everybody has opposing
That's true.
opposing beliefs. Like
from my opinion.
Yeah,
and I've seen Cobra. Like, I've been in the unemployment. Like, I've seen what Cobra costs. It's like $500 a month, and I know that Affordable Care Act doesn't cost that much. Like, it's providing people options for cheaper health care.
Okay, so I will go out there and say that yes, it still does cost. Well, it's for 2 people though.
Yeah,
okay, not one individual.
Okay,
right.
500 for one individual is what Cobra is. So for one individual, I know that it could be as low as as low as $100 a month on Affordable Care Act.
So on the Affordable Care Act, I mean, I was recently on it too. So for me and my wife, we're 30 years old. It was about $500 something a month with a only $80 subsidy, because we're in that bottom middle class area where it's like we don't get many tax breaks, or we don't get many subsidy breaks, and huh?
I said you get the big old.
Well, it's like you're right there, and you're like, yeah, I got out of it, and then like getting pushed back down, oh no, But it was like at least we did have healthcare coverage where we opposed to not having it. And I don't know what the fines look like. So Ian, I mean, you're more educated on that because your wife got that fine. But this tax season, I will see what it's like to not have insurance for 3 months. That's it. So see if there's a fine involved there.
I don't remember what it was. I mean, now she's under my health care, which I pay every month, which I mean, I just added her. And that's the other thing is, like, for me personally, just to have my own health care, I'm at this level, but when I added her, it almost like went over double. It was like ridiculous.
Dude. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And, so bad. I mean, I get one of the better health cares just in case, you always want to kind of have that in your back pocket. Now, one thing that's horrible about me that I've been telling my wife for the past like 3 years is that I don't go to the doctor, which I should, of course. And I hear it almost every day from her.
That's our generation, dude. I mean, that's not our generation. That's males under 50.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
And I'll say it to you guys too. I'll go to the doctor. Don't worry.
We need you here, buddy, for a very long time.
But and the other conversation Clay and I had was spending on our military.
Yeah.
Him and I had.
Unpack
that's
that
where our opposing. Yeah, that's where our opposing views are.
Yeah.
And I know that a hefty amount.
And what are you in favor for?
definitely pay for military all day.
Okay. Yeah. And
I mean,
Clay, you're against paying for military,
no,
or
no, he's not against paying for
Go to
it.
the
I
go to
mean,
the chart. Go to the
just-
chart. Go to the pie chart.
There you go,
his
Steve.
made-up
Go
pie
to
chart.
the
Pie
Go to the
chart.
pie chart. I don't have the pie chart with me. Basically,
You can make it up.
make the
Quite
circle.
honestly,
okay,
you
so
can-
we have
you
we
can
have a
look it
circle,
up,
and then
right?
half the circle is military spend. This what makes up our $15 trillion
do the
debt.
pie chart?
So of the 15 trillion debt, half of it's going to military. The other half is all the other stuff like education, healthcare, all this other, like everything else is in the other half. But this half is military, and we know that our military is so far advanced and so much more money goes into it that the next it's basically the combination of the next 3 military groups combined. It's larger than that.
Well, they say that our budget is like larger than almost all the other military around the world.
That's what I was just saying.
combined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while I completely agree with Ian that military is our defense and we need to like treat it with like respect and importance, I have a feeling that we're paying $500 for 4 apples when we need to go to the other grocery store, dude, and start paying the 4 apple prices that we really need to be paying for. Like, this is insane. So there's a lot of audits I think we can do here, which is, again, something Bernie Sanders wants to do.
Well,
Yeah.
you're paying $500 for 4 chuckleheads in office, that aren't doing anything. Why do we pay so much towards government employees? I'd rather pay military people putting their lives on the line
Dude,
for us.
but that's a
That's
sliver.
I think that spending is not going to like the soldiers on the ground or
No.
anything. Or like
Oh,
just
there's a
training
lot of
soldiers.
things. No,
This
it's
is
going
like
to-
this is to research and development to like weapon contractors that
Like
are
house
like designing like how to fucking send a missile down like an anthole to like take out something. Like
Sold.
it's just like it's like so absurd though. Like we don't why do we need that? Why do we
No.
need that?
Yeah, like, and there's definitely future think. Like, there's just a way to make this more efficient. Like the anthill thing, great example. We probably don't need to worry about that for another 10 years. Going into a cave, yeah, okay. We're dealing with a lot of people hiding in caves. Let's spend some money in there. Do we need all the other like submarines to be like referred? Like, we're not gonna be submarine battling. Fuck that shit. Take that out, man. Do we
How
need
do
to
you
be like
know?
making tanks? No,
Submarine
man.
battle.
We haven't used tanks in a year. Pull that fucking shit out. Like,
But that's
there's
the
this-
thing. It's like all this. If you scale all this back, like if there's less military presence in general, then I guess there's going to be like less people you're like dicking over and like stepping on their toes, right? Like
Yeah.
then there's less reason to have them. So like what's the? It's like a catch-22, right? Like if you don't fuck around, like you need all this military like in presence to be like so imposing all the time, then you're not going to be like getting into other people's shit all the time. Then there's less reason for them to feel like you're not safe.
I understand that we're not the world police, and I'm not saying keep that going. I just think that I'm not saying that the military spending is perfect, but there's a lot of other issues that spending is affecting with our government tax dollars. I mean,
But when you
I
look
just
at that
think-
pay chart that I so articulated,
I
and
get
half
your pie
of it,
chart. Now,
half
and
of
I'll
it is
tell you this.
military, and then like a sliver.
You didn't cite your source. I don't know where that pie chart is.
all right, I will find
It
it.
was drawn on the back of a napkin.
I will find it. I will find it.
That's a source.
Yeah, I will find
Just
it.
depends on how valid you think Clay's opinion is.
But
I will
my
find it.
thing is that Rome had the best army at one point.
then
There a lot
and
of
the barbarians
nature-
conquered it.
Yeah, but a lot of different, and that's why I think military spending is an important thing. I'm not saying to just let them free run and spend every dime in the world that without auditing it, but I'm just saying that there is other, I think, wasteful tax dollars and wasteful money going to other things than just the military.
Gotcha.
And cutting back so drastically on it and lowering our military presence could be a good idea, but you can let some companies go free roaming and all that other stuff, and I don't want to be the world police, but like I said again, but I just think that there's other things that we can focus on that would better suit and help our country.
But when you see wouldn't you agree that prioritizing the military inefficiency spend is probably the first priority, considering it has the ability to, I don't know, reduce it by 15%, 10%, whereas what you're talking about would require not only the salaries of the individuals in Senate and politics, but also having to take the next 10 things into consideration, if that. I'm kind of ballparking numbers, but we can look at one thing in the military, and that can combine to be like a bunch of things that you're
I was
describing.
gonna say if you take even 5% of that half of a pie chart, that's equal to like so much money
Yeah.
that could be spent on other things. Like even just 5%, even like 10%, whatever. it
Right,
is.
if your hypothetical 16 trillion, 8 trillion of it's in the military kind of deal, and you take 1 trillion, there would be no fines for you for universal health care, and everybody would have health care as a right, because that would be that 1 trillion taken from tax dollars used not to the military, but now used back into the system for education and
Right.
for health care. And that's where that's like, yes, we could allocate the budget that we're doing for right now for military into other areas that could make us as a community, as a whole, as a country, rise up, so that we can get rid of things like veterans sleeping on the streets.
Yeah.
We can get rid of poverty here in the United States. We can get rid of people hungry here in the United States just by taking a little piece of that pie that we're putting so much into with the military. Now, I'm not advocating to get rid of the military, but I absolutely think that we should be looking, like Clay was saying, at what kind of programs do we need to audit? What kind of programs are absolutely necessary, and which ones are we just throwing money to throw there because somebody lobbied for it and now they're making $200 billion because they own that company that they got, they lobbied for and they got the government contract for, and now they're just doing bullshit stuff.
And 9/11, I
Right.
mean, we had a strong military, and 9/11 still happened. So, and that wasn't
Things are going to still happen. You're not going to protect yourself from every little thing.
But my point is that a strong military does not, like, the military spending of what we're doing doesn't stop us from 9/11. What stops us from 9/11 is like smart, thorough research and communication amongst the different branches of government to say, hey, look, we've heard this stuff. This is probably going to happen. We need to stop it. It doesn't require the amount of money we're spending on the military to do that.
Well, you're talking about auditing too, though. Why are we like auditing food stamps and all that other stuff? People
Because
run
that's so
rampant with that, and
small.
just
It's so
and they
small.
and so that they are. So for example, here there's a pilot program in Georgia right now that's running through 3 different counties that says that if you don't get a job, you're getting food stamps, and you don't go to get a job or be in job training within 3 months of receiving those food stamps, you will get your food stamps removed from you, and you will no longer be able to apply for 3 years. 5,000 people as of yesterday had lost their food stamps because of that pilot program. They are incorporating those things right now. They're trying to work out programs to see, like, okay, we want to be able to give out welfare, we want to be able to help out people, but we don't also want them to just be milking the system. We want them to be going out there and trying to bettering themselves in the society.
We should really look at how much money that's actually taking from that debt. Because I'm hard pressed to believe that food stamps are a significant portion of that pie.
I'm not just saying just food stamps. I'm just saying programs like.
Okay.
There's a lot of different ones
Now,
out there, and you combine them all.
Here's my perspective of those programs.
Real
I
quick,
feel
because we
like-
have to wrap up soon.
Yeah. Okay. Real fast. I think that they have good intentions. I think that maybe they should be structured a little bit differently so that they're helping the society get back on their feet and get up there and get out there.
It's broken.
But they're broke. They're broken to a set. But their intentions are to try to get these individuals that are having a really hard time, don't have the opportunities a lot of other individuals have, to try to get back up on their feet. Now that's fine. But when it's being abused and stuff like that, that's obviously the issue. Also, I think that the systems aren't helping push people into, getting jobs or helping them with life coaches and debt management or
there's a lot
these
of-
other programs that we could incorporate for any individual that's receiving type of welfare to say, hey, let's try to get you, back into society to become a productive, citizen.
It's so crazy how we're not there yet. It's wild. That's a whole nother topic that we can go into. It's like the mental health care and like just getting persons back into society. It's like instead of like putting a Band-Aid and putting them in a house and being like, all right, 5 days of up, you got food, get out, back out there, and then come back in 10. Like that's crazy. Anyway, we need to wrap up because we're hitting a mark here. Ian, we attacked you, and I feel bad. I want to give you the last word.
Okay, just real quick. Yeah. I put a link up there of a pie chart that I found.
Yeah.
And I see that Department of Defense is 17%.
Okay, that's just the defense. That's not all of military.
Well, I'm just Department of Defense.
17%.
You got.
He drew up a perfectly good pie chart, Ian.
I cited a source.
Fair point. That's my goal for next week is to get more of these pie charts and sources.
More of these
and I will
pie
show
charts.
you. In particular, I'll look for healthcare. I'll look for education. I'll look for salaries for the politics, and then I'll look for food stamp stuff and programs like that, not just food stamps, like you said.
No, that's cool. And all I'm gonna say is that yes, I agree that things do need to change, though.
Yeah.
time
So.
for a change.
I think everybody's in that boat, whether you're no matter which way you're voting. I think that everybody's frustrated right now, and they realize that something needs to change.
And Steven, you better vote.
Yeah,
So
dude.
I'm so glad I
Yeah,
contributed
Steve.
to that entire topic right there. I'm so glad I was here for
Killing bugs.
that. So glad I was here for that.
All right, let's go into our next topic.